Hey there everyone, welcome to Nostalgia PC. This is my YouTube channel where I kind of experiment with a bunch of different vintage and modern computers and just tinker here in my lab and videotape what I do. Sometimes I do something interesting and sometimes I just test old random things. And tonight what I'm doing is I am working on a little thin client here. It's a little bit of an underpowered thin client. I started by trying to load Windows 98 on it, and I couldn't find drivers for the video card, and it was just not running correctly. It kept on restarting and acting very strange. So what I ended up going with was Linux. But what I'm doing here is I'm trying to run DOS under Linux and have it have like kind of like an instant on, or as instant on as I could possibly do it, so that the computer starts up and loads the DOS box, and then it's ready to run DOS programs. Okay, so here is the little thin client. It's like I said, it's got a VIA Eden CPU, and it has 512 megs of RAM, and it's all embedded on the motherboard. So the only thing that is actually upgradable here is the SSD IDE disk on module, and this came with a 1 gigabyte disk on module, this one right here. And what I ended up doing was I had an 8 gigabyte drive hanging around, and I switched it to the 8 gigabyte one because most Linux installations were not installing in the 1 gig drive. You need more space. And 8 gigs appears to be enough. So I went ahead and tried a couple of Debian based installs here, and my goal was to get it so that it boots up into just the command line like this. And my first experiments was to install dosbox using the packages that are available out there. But this is a 32-bit CPU, and most of the DOSBox, not most, all of the DOSBox packages that I've been able to find out there either are compiled with 64-bit, or they are compiled against the old SDL libraries, the 1.2 libraries. And when I ran DOSBox in this little guy, the 32-bit version that was installed using the package installer, it created a bunch of garbage in the screen. So I was reading online, and they say that the old version of the libraries that Dropbox is compiled against might lead to garbled images and things on the screen. So I heard that if I used the DOSBox staging from version of Dropbox, that one actually runs against the more modern SDL2 libraries. Unfortunately, the images that were actually available on the website were compiled against a 64-bit CPU, and that's not gonna that didn't run on this, obviously, because this is a 32-bit CPU. Now, what I'm doing now is I was able to download the what do you call it, the source code for DOSBox staging. Let me see if I can switch here screens. Oh, I have H-top here on the second screen. As you can see here, let me turn off the light here. This is pegged at 100% CPU because the CPU is really slow, and it's using up almost all available memory with 22 megabytes of swap, and it's compiling here. But if I exit that, let me see, then you can see here that I'm using DOSBox staging, and here are the source files. Luckily, this has really good build instructions, and I was able to get it running. However, right now it is 9:14 p.m. There's a total of 330 files that need to be compiled. And I started compiling this at 8:10 p.m. So it's been going for 1 hour. And I'm still only by 125 out of 330 files. So at this rate, assuming that nothing fails, which is, as you can see here, there's some warnings and, there's warnings are okay. Errors would cause this to completely error out, obviously. But hopefully this goes all the way through to 330 files, and I end up with a dosbox executable that will run on this 32-bit machine. And then once that's available, I will be able to run DOS programs inside that DOSbox. Now, all right, so this just finished right now. This just finished, and it is 12:30. It's past midnight. So I've been at it since 8:10 p.m. So that was like so many hours. All right, so let me see. It should actually be packages. Okay, let me see where DOSbox ended up. All right, so we have build. All right, so we go to build, and now if I run this, all right, so that works. So let me run DOSbox and see what happens. Initialized, windowed mode, virtual interface. SDL failed to put the mouse in relative mode. What does that mean?
1 hour.
Alright, so I haven't set up my capture machine yet, which is coming up in a follow-up video to this one. But here I'm showing you the thin client. I managed to get a window manager installed. So let me see here. It's definitely not instant on. It takes about a minute for it to get to this screen, and I haven't even loaded DOSbox yet. So my dreams of making this an instant on machine probably not gonna happen unless I really work on having a bare bones Linux install. I mean bare bones as in just a kernel that has been compiled with the bare minimum and then boots up, but that's a lot of time investment, so I'm not gonna go that route. But for now, for demo purposes, I'm gonna see if I can actually run the DOSbox staging on this as a now that I have X Windows working. So I'm gonna go in and log in as DOSbox. Wait, DOSbox. It's really slow. It's amazing. I remember when I was a young kid, like I had a 386 that I ran Linux on, and it didn't have this input lag. So yeah, things took forever. Like compiling the kernel back then took like hours or something, or an hour. I don't know, at the very minimum. But it did not have this lag because all this new software is so bloated that even on a 400 megahertz machine, and I'm talking about like I had a 25 megahertz or a 40 megahertz machine, and it would run Linux with FVWM, like those, like it was Slackware, and it would run it blazing fast. This is taking forever. Just to show you, like if you keep software simple, it'll work much better. But then again, simple software is not as full featured as this stuff. So anyway, let me go here, open up what do you call this, the terminal, LX terminal. Not to mention that this computer has 512 megabytes of RAM, and the computer that I used to run as a kid had like, I don't know, 4. So let's see. I'm gonna go to, I did SU. Oh, I have numblock on. There you go. I don't remember if I run something as root, does it use the display? Does it take over the display? I don't know. Let's see. DOSBox. Alright, does that work? It's gonna... No. Alright, so if I... Alright, so... Let me try to log out and... Can I log in as root? Let me try to log in as root. Log out. Wait an eternity. Log out. Alright, for some reason this stopped recording when I was showing you that I was going to mess around with the resolution. So what I did was I lowered the screen resolution to 640 by 480. And what I ended up doing is I also modified the configuration. So if I go to edit conf like this, then I changed this so that it always starts up in full screen. I also changed it so that it doesn't use bilinear filtering when rendering the video, which will make it look kind of ugly, but it's faster. I also changed the RAM from 16 megabytes down to 4 megabytes, and I think that was it. Oh, the rendering. Did I change anything here? Let me see. No. Nothing there either. CPU, I changed it from auto to dynamic because it said that might actually improve speed in some cases. How about core simple? I wonder if I use simple there. Alright, let me try simple. So with these settings, it's a little bit more usable, but let me see. Control out. Let me see. Control X. So if I run DOSBox now, okay, it's loading, and there you go. Doesn't look as nice. It's still slow, but it's definitely much faster. Oh wait, it doesn't. Running Mavis Beacon teaches typing on this must be a nightmare because it doesn't capture all the keystrokes. I have to type slow. But as you can see here, it works. There you go. Probably not going to be playing Duke Nukem on this, but it works. And I got the Sound Blaster on, PC speaker, OPL, master volume. So this is a very good emulation system here. Obviously very slow, but I can probably drop this into a faster thin client and actually get a nice working DOSBox with even Voodoo graphics. So let me see if I can install a game or something and run it. Let me see how that goes. Okay, so here's what I ended up doing. I logged into my other computer and I SSH into this one and copied over Doom 1.9, and then I mounted right here on the C drive that directory where I uploaded that Doom install. So it's home DOSBox, DOS C, like the C drive. Then I switched over to the C drive, and now I see Doom, and I'm gonna try to install it. This is probably gonna take forever. If typing is an indication of what is to come. So I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna type install. All right. All right. C. Oh my God. That's gonna be awful. I don't know if you can hear that, but okay. It's installing. Oh my God. Disk 1. This is real time, by the way. Oh, shareware version. Please distribute. The font looks ugly without that bilinear filtering. Maybe I should re-enable it. I don't know if that's going to actually... If the GPU is... I think this is an OpenGL rendering, so... If the GPU is doing the heavy lifting, I don't think it's going to slow down the emulation. Alright. This part right here is probably going to take a while. So I'm going to cut into the future and spare you this, and then I'll load up the setup. Or actually, I don't even know if this has a setup, so just to test the audio and stuff, but I don't... That's going to be interesting. Okay, so that took probably like 10 minutes. So now I'm presented with the Doom setup, and I'm gonna go keyboard only. Oh my God, Sound Blaster. Let's do that. 220. Sound Blaster. 220. I don't know. Usually it's 5. 5. DMA channel 1. 3 sound effects to mix. Let's see if oh, it doesn't do a test in the setup, so this is gonna be really painful. Save parameters and launch Doom. It's doing it. It's just... Oh my God, look at that. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God, that's just so slow. My God. Oh my God. I'm never gonna get this time back. I'm just gonna stop right here and figure out what in the world this is happening. I'm just gonna let it go and then see it and check it back in. Oh God. Alright, so after waiting for over half an hour for Doom to load and just being presented with a black screen, and the occasional like floppy icon on the bottom right corner trying to load something from the drive, I decided that it was gonna take forever. So I'm not gonna wait for Doom to even display the first screen, because after half an hour I just think that was way too long. So what I decided to do was I downloaded a different game, another shareware game. This time it's 3D Pitfall. So I'm gonna mount, I just restarted DOSBox, and I'm gonna mount my C drive, and then I'm gonna go to that, and I'm gonna see if 3D Pitfall runs any better. I think, oh my God, this is awful. Alright, and we all know that that's not gonna work any better. Maybe slightly better, but After this experiment, I'm gonna actually swap out the drive that I'm using in this really slow thin client into this other thin client. This one over here has a 1.6 gigahertz Intel Atom CPU and a bit more RAM. It's also DDR2, much faster overall. So I think Doom will run on this one under dosbox, but we'll verify that before I finish up this video. All right, so because it's already getting kind of long and I've spent a lot of time, the real time, so I need to get this thing out of the bench. So I'm gonna run 3D Pit. All right, that's a good sign. The first thing. Oh, look at that! Oh my God, that is so slow. Now I don't know if this is actually supposed to go this slow. I highly doubt it. It's probably gonna be supposed to like show up as a. Okay, I see 3D pitfall starting to be formed there. That's interesting. That's interesting. Oh my God, this is so slow. We'll get there. We'll get there. 3D pitfall. Copyright 1995 by J. Schramko. Schramho? Schramho. No, it's okay? I think it's okay. Oh, look, there's even a little 3D shadow there. Nice. I don't hear any sound, so I'm not sure if this game is supposed to have sound or not. I think I'm just going to press a key, like enter. I'm not sure what's supposed to happen now. Alright, spacebar? Oh no, still doing something. Oh my God, now it's going to change to something else. This is obviously running like an 80, like slower than an 8088 or something. It must be going so slow. I should run the DOS bench. Let me actually download that while this runs and I'll check back in right now. Alright, so DOS bench is being copied very slowly over the network to the machine that is running here. But as you can see here, this is almost ready to start the game. The 3D view is coming to life here. And I expect this to run very slowly. Just going to give it one shot. And then if it's extremely slow, I'm just going to... I am just going to move over to the other computer. Oh, look. Oh my God, that is so bad. Numeric pad. Okay, look, it's gonna... Oh, I see. So I'm supposed to move it over. Oh, look at how it draws. I press to the right. Oh my God, that is so slow. Let me go down. That is kind of cool. You get to see the effect there. It's being drawn down, and then it gets redrawn in the spot. So I'm gonna go down one more. And then I'm gonna hit space to drop it. So this is now I press drop, and it shows how it gets dropped into the bottom over there. Oh my God, that is so slow. Alright, so I just went ahead and I swapped in the SSD into the other thin client, and now if I go here to dosbox, it's going to be a much different experience. So now if I go directory, you know what, let me actually change the... Wait, that's not what I mean. DOSBox, edit conf, and I want to change this so that I actually use the OpenGL with the nice font, because now I can actually afford those CPU cycles. Alright, so if I go to DOSBox, now we get a nice screen. If I press dir, it actually runs. Now I can mount the DOS C. I can go to the C drive, and let's try 3D Pitfall now. 3D Pit. That is much faster. Then I press enter. This is much better. And yeah, look at that. Something is not right with the video driver now. Like the colors are dark, so something is obviously not right. But now this works. All right, so now let's see how the how Doom runs. Yeah, it's very dark. I don't know why it's so dark. Must be a different video driver issue or something, I don't know. Alright, so Doom is now loading much faster. Oh, music. I don't know if you can hear that. Super dark. Oh my god, still very slow, but and very dark. Oh no, not horrible. Uh-oh. Okay, the key to getting some decent performance out of this on these slow old computers is to make sure that you're running at 640 by 480 in X Windows. That way it's pushing a lot less pixels, but you can't see anything. How do you shoot with the control? Oh my god, I cannot see anything. Anyway, I'm gonna end this video here. As you can see here, you need some horsepower to actually run DOSBox on old hardware. This is you know, some old games will play, but you know, depends what, if you consider Doom old. But Doom barely plays on this emulation, so this is not an adequate system for this. Now, I've ran DOSBox in an Atom 1.6 before, and it ran really well within Windows. So maybe it's just this port under Linux that has some issues, but you know, let me know what your experience has been with DOSBox in the comments below. And if you like this stuff, you know, make sure you subscribe. I have a lot of videos in progress, and it will be great to hear your thoughts on them as they come out.